Replace the old visual design with the new one. This means, in essence, replacing the old template with a new one. I'm going to start in Dreamweaver, and I'll just quickly show you the file system here. So I have a copy of this website. It's here. There are the files. All of those files point to the original template with the old visual design, which is this template here. So if I open that up, this is the Dreamweaver template with the old visual design, but it has some important elements to it, particularly this navigation down the left-hand side. And so what we're going to do is go through a process to swap out the old with the new. It's a process of a number of steps, and I suggest that you indeed have this video playing and pause it as you go along, as you hit each stage, to ensure that you do things in the right order. So I'm going to close that template down. So with the knowledge that this has the old design, I'm going to rename it. I'm going to include the original name and append the word old to it. And I'm going to save that. Now, this is very, very important. When you get the update information, it's really critical at this stage that you choose the don't update option. Because indeed what we're going to do now is to create a copy of the template with the new design. If you recall from an earlier video, I stepped you through this process. I'll do it again quickly now. We choose the copy me for a new template. We're going to copy that. I'm using the keyboard shortcuts Command C and Command V, or Control C and Control V for those on a Windows machine. And now I'm going to rename this new copy, and I'm going to rename it to the original template title. We take stock. I have the old template with the old design. I'll open that up to show you. And I have the new template with the original template's name, but that includes the new design. I'll open that up. Okay. There's something now that we need to effectively copy across from the old to the new, and it's the navigation. That's of course really important. The navigation here is in this side navigation bar. Just drag my mouse over it. I prefer at this stage, and you might notice I've already got it open, to go over to the split screen view and to copy the code. I just feel more comfortable in, doing that so that you can ensure that you get it all. So what I'm going to do is to just highlight that same block of code in the code view. That way I know that I've got everything that I need, and I'm going to copy that. I'm now going to return to the new design template. I'm going to position my cursor down the bottom here, and I'm going to paste the code in that I'd previously copied. Now, I am working in code a little here, and I know that that's not very comfortable for some, but what I'm simply going to do is to paste it in after this closing li tag here. I'll paste like that, and I have it in here, and in fact this now becomes redundant. I may as well take that first one away. Okay, time to take stock. That was a process in essence to copy the navigational elements from the old design template to the new. So I've done that now, and I'm going to save it. And lucky for us, it notices that in fact this template is associated with all of these pages. And the reason it knows that is we were very careful to ensure that we gave the template the exact same name as the original. So when we hit update now, it's going to apply that new design to all of the existing pages. But there are some elements in the new design that there are elements in the old design which are now redundant in the new one. So what we're going to say when it comes to this message here is this detail is no longer needed in the new design. So we're going to say put it nowhere, and we're going to use for all. So it's going to basically throw that stuff away because it's not necessary in our new design. And we hit OK. And it will proceed through and update those 9 pages in this example, but doing so with the new design element. So let's have a little look. I'm going to close that down. I'm going to now go over to my browser. Notice that you have the old content but with the new design elements imposed across the top of them. So as I navigate either by clicking through the left-hand panel or using the page turning, you'll notice that the broad visual design has been updated. It's not, however, the finish of our work. There's a few items on each page that will need some attention. For instance, you'll notice that the heading, teacher responsibility, in the new design lives up in this logo. So we're just going to need to go to each page and make a few quick edits. It's also, as we do that, we might introduce some of the other design elements, such as lower on this page, there's a reading exercise. Why don't we use the page element for reading to replace that? So we're going to return to Dreamweaver now. I'm going to open up the page in question. The first thing I need to do is to copy the heading that's currently here. I'm just going to cut that out of there, and I'm going to paste it up in here. So that was fairly quick. I'm going to scroll down the page and make any other changes that might spring out at me. And if you recall, this has a read section at the bottom of this page. Let's replace that with the new read design. I'm going to show you two alternative ways to do this. Now, in a previous screencast, you've seen me use the library items, where I can go to the assets panel and into the library, and I could pull out the one called reading, place it on the page. I could then detach from the original in order to edit that, and I could do a copy and paste exercise to copy this text, place it in the box, etc. You've seen that in previous tutorials, so I don't need to cover that in any greater detail now. I will, however, show you a slightly quicker way, and you can then choose which one you prefer. The other approach here is to simply highlight the existing content, such as we have here. I'm going to the Insert menu this time, and what I'm going to insert is a div. And then when it comes to this choice here, we can select from the options or simply type in read. Reading exercises have the class of read, and again you could just select it from here. You'll notice there's things like reflect here as well, but this is a reading exercise, and then I'm going to hit OK. That's effectively wrapped whatever text that I had selected in that reading exercise box, and we better give this a heading now as well. So I'm just going to call it, for instance, reading, and I'm going to make that heading 3. By denoting it as heading 3, it indicates in the browser, let me flip back over to the browser now, you'll see it here, that put that little book symbol in. So one of two ways to do it. Choose the method that's appropriate to you, and then it's a simple matter of working through each page in turn and putting in the design elements that you need and taking away any design elements that are now redundant. That's a process that I think you need to practice a little. I'd suggest that maybe you do it first on effectively an offline copy. Make sure that it's all okay. Work locally. Ensure that every page works, the navigation works, so you don't have any surprises before you publish your changed contents back to the TL Web.